You're listening to the Fantasy Football Podcast with Charles Barr and John Chapman.
Here we go with Fantasy Football ? And we're back.
That's
and it's
right.
me, host Chuck B.
The host, the Twitter famous host Chuck B.
Well, I was just going to say that I'm getting kind of less exclusive and I'm starting to date around and I got a few more followers. So
Man, I'm just saying that being the famous lifestyle is going to be kind of hard for you, but I think you'll be able to adapt.
At least 60 to 70 people are going to hear me out every day.
That's a big family.
But not as big as you. John L. something _ don't care. Who
That's
cares?
not what it is. It is JL _ Chapman. JL _ CHAPMAN. I do have a few more followers, but you are right on my tails. And if you have any questions, just hit us up there. And it's just all fantasy. It's just all fantasy and some 49ers stuff. So check us out. Any questions, just hit us up there.
And what we do is we talk about the news. So first up, the most important thing to really talk about, Zeke's suspension. Give me your take.
Yeah, we talked a little bit, just over the phone. This is a big deal. I think it's going to stay 6 weeks. I really do. So if you want Zeke, that's fine. You can still get him. If you took away Zeke's his first 6 weeks last year, he still finishes the number 14 running back in fantasy. So he's still going to be a very viable option. The only thing I'll say is this. He is missing half of the regular season for fantasy. He has a bye week in week 7, so you can't start him until week 8. So he is going to be out for the first 7 weeks of a 13-week regular season. So unless you are amazing on the waiver wire, don't touch this guy because you're going to need some help.
Well, and the other thing that's not inspiring either is the fact that McFadden hasn't come out and been authoritative, yes, I'm going to be the number 2. Actually, it's been a little bit of questioning because Alfred Morris has looked strong and McFadden put the ball on the floor.
He did. So McFadden looked great. He had 3 runs in a row of over 8 yards and looked like all right, we can get behind this. And then he puts the ball on the ground, which he's done his entire career. Ball security has never been a strength of his. But having said that, for the first 2 games, McFadden has taken almost all of the snaps with the first team. So I think if you are drafting Ezekiel Elliott, you need to try to get McFadden. If you can't get McFadden, you need to try to get Jaquiz Rogers, somebody like a Terrence West or a Danny Woodhead, somebody that you can put in that you know is going to be starting right off of the bat.
Quick question about Zeke before we move on. Where do you take Zeke in a 12-man league, and where do you take Zeke in a 10-man league?
So the main difference between 12 and 10-man leagues, you have to have studs. So depth goes out of the window because there's always going to be depth on the waiver wire. So all you care about is those studs. So I'm bumping up Zeke in a 10-man league. Having said that, again, as I said, if Zeke missed 6 games last year, he would have been ranked the number 14 guy. And so that's right where I have him now. I'm probably not going to get him in almost all of my drafts. But it's just I don't like losing. So this is a mindset issue, right? You can lose your draft. You can lose your league in the draft. And so I want safe people I can count on early on, and I want risk late. So I'm not taking Zeke. Now, if he fell to me in the 3rd round, yeah, you can bet your rear end I'm getting that guy. But the odds of that happening are next to nil.
Yeah. And next we have the Bills, who are kind of like that middle school kid who approaches the girl with something confident to say and then all of a sudden forgets because things are now starting to go wrong. But before that, we need to address that they had a trade Sammy Watkins off the board.
Man, the Bills are doing their best. They looked over and saw what the Jets are doing, and they're like, ooh. Yeah. Let's do what they're doing. And I don't know why. I mean, given they haven't made the playoffs in 10 years straight, that's definitely got to be a part of it. But what are you thinking? You have a young corner that is a stud, and you trade him to the Eagles for Jordan Matthews.
Thank you.
Breaks his chest in 15 minutes of practice with the Bills. Then you ship off Sammy Watkins, again, 24-year-old, could-be franchise player. You send him away for a 2nd-round draft pick. So they're just building for the future. They've got an extra 2nd and 3rd round draft pick for next year. And then on top of that, man, homeboy, Anquan Bolden just up and retires today. So
Man.
I'm telling you, man, it's them, the Jets. They're competing with the Bears for first pick, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, they just have blown it, and I feel like they approached it so confidently, right? And that's why I was making that metaphor, like coming up with the confident thing to say, but then it's like, oh, wait a second. We just gave away major pieces, and we took a step back because Tyrod Taylor is now so unsupported, it's unbelievable. And then you get these articles, Tyrod Taylor is, struggling at QB, or is it that he lost his receivers?
Who's he going to throw to? And then, if you watch this week's preseason game, they had LaShawn McCoy playing into the second quarter. What the hell is wrong with you? He's 29 years old. Like, are you trying your hardest to lose this guy? I really wouldn't be surprised if Tyrod Taylor or LaShawn McCoy gets traded. But I'll tell you this, as far as fantasy and what all this means, Tyrod Taylor takes a huge downturn. I've got Sammy Watkins actually about where he is. I didn't knock him. And if you watched any of the second preseason game with the Rams, Jared Goff looked good. He looked really good, actually. Not saying that's going to continue, but you've got to believe in the system that they have in place there. What Sean McVay's bringing over from Washington. Think about what Washington does. Then think about what Jeff Fisher does, basically taking a dump on the 50-yard line. There's a huge difference here. And so
Absolutely.
He is going to be in better situations. And so I really think that the target increase is going to be huge. Remember this, Kenny Britt had 1,000 yards receiving for the Rams last year, and he only played in 14 and a half games. You mean to tell me that Sammy Watkins is not better than Kenny Britt?
No, I'm not going to say that. Not at all. Good on the Rams. You kind of were seeing that their fortunes were going the other way. This is kind of like something that's changed it for them, and hopefully we start to see them compete a bit more. To the other trade, the Jordan Matthews trade, a very happy Eagles fan over here. Now, again, love Jordan Matthews. He's the kind of player that you want on your team, in the locker room, the whole deal. But did the trade make absolute sense? Oh, my God. So far, Darby has showed out. They had veterans interviewed the day after he got to practice, or that he practiced with them. And already the veteran safeties and linebackers said, it's changed our coverage. We don't have to worry about at least one side of the field or one star receiver beating us deep. That guy's always going to be covered on the deep end, so it's changed already.
It showed in the game, too. He had that pick where he ran it back for about 30 yards, and he almost had another pick six. I mean, the kid, if you remember, if you go back 2 years ago, he was the runner-up for the Defensive Rookie of the Year. This kid is talented. He's a baller. And then you look at Jordan Matthews. Well, Jordan Matthews had 5 games under 10 fantasy points in PPR scoring last year. So he's not somebody that's really consistent. He's a great route runner, and I think a great football player, but he is not a true number one. If he can get healthy, I think he's all right. I have him ranked as my number 46 wide receiver, if that makes you kind of gives you some view. And I have Zay Jones ahead of him. I have Zay Jones as my number 40 wide receiver. So
that's a good question. We watched that preseason game, and Zay Jones absolutely looks every part as of an NFL receiver. But where? Is he a real number one, a true number one, or is he more a number two?
No, so what they said is, so let's go off the coach's words here. And he said, Zay Jones is our outside receiver. And when we have 3 wide receivers, he will play the slot. And this was kind of confusing because basically with Bolden and Matthews and Zay Jones, you had 3 kind of slot receivers. Well, this has probably led a little bit to why Bolden left. But having said that, Zay Jones is going to be the focal point here. Because, one, he's a great blocker. He runs the entire route tree. Jordan Matthews does not. And he's very reliable and smart. He played in a very similar offense with East Carolina. The Fighting Pirates. But I'm telling you right now, he might not be the guy that's going to have, 2 touchdown games and things like that. But you're looking at a guy that's going to have 6 catches for 80 yards consistently.
Would you also say Charles Clay value up?
Yes. Oh, you got to. The targets are going to be there, and now you're not going to take him off the field. So Before Bolden retired, you were looking at 3 wide receiver sets with, the big 3 receivers. Now, if you're doing 3 wide receiver sets, you're going to split out Clay, which they've done in the past, in where Bolden would have been. So, yeah, he's going to be on the field and have a lot more targets now. But again, whenever I say moving him up, he's not going very far, right?
Yep.
I've got him as a tight end, too. I've got him right around 20, right above Evan Ingram is where I got him.
Gotcha. Sounds like the Washington Redskins have fumble problems, or at least one of their running backs does.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was super high on Samaje Perine out of Oklahoma. Just to put it in perspective, this guy has the all-time record for rushing yards at Oklahoma, for a career and for a game. He had like 300-something yards against Kansas in one game. But having said that, he has not picked up the offense, and he is fumbling like crazy. If you watch any of the games for the Redskins, he has not had one snap with the ones. Every single snap was taken by Chris Thompson on third down. That ain't going to change. And Rob Kelly, first and second down. And let me say this. This is, when you are drafting for handcuffs or, this rookie might step into a role, you need to focus on guys that will step into 3-down workloads. There is nothing in this world that will ever change for the Washington Redskins. They do not believe in a 3-down running back. They don't. They're split. It's a running back by committee best case scenario. So even if you love Samaje Perine and you're an OU homer, that's fine. But just know he will never be a number 1 running back in that system. He can't be. Go after guys that if they do step up because of injury or something like that, they will be 3-down workhorse backs. Guys like James Conner at Pittsburgh, Jonathan Williams at Buffalo, Kareem Hunt at the Chiefs, Jamal Williams for Green Bay, Derrick Henry, Tevin Coleman, these guys, that if they do step in because of injury, they could possibly be a number 1 running back. Samaje Perine, because of the system, has nothing to do with his talent. They divide up the workload.
And another guy who has kind of fallen off, and I think what I saw was he had 4 carries, Joe Williams.
Oh, it got even worse last night. Such a bad night for the 49ers. Joe Williams won the first preseason game. He went in after undrafted rookie Matt Breida. And then he did not get in until the 4th quarter this next game. Now, Kyle Shanahan came out and said, I wanted to give Capri Bibbs and Tim Hightower a look. But it was bad. He looks good, and you can tell that the speed is there, and it will probably translate. But everybody thought he was going to be taking Carlos Hyde's job. And it could not be further from the truth.
Carlos Hyde's got to be laughing because probably 2 weeks ago he was a bit frustrated hearing some of those rumors. Yeah. Another guy who's a first rounder, but he's in concussion protocol. How serious is Devontae Freeman's deal?
I don't think it's that big of a deal. He hasn't had a lot of issues. The issue is Devontae Freeman was if you would have asked me who's the safest top-tier running back, I'd say Devontae Freeman. He's played pretty much without injury and the past 2 years, and he's been a top 8 fantasy back-to-back years. And then he goes and gets a concussion. So this isn't a big deal. But if he does get another concussion during the season, you're adding an extra week probably. So thankfully he didn't suit up, and hopefully he doesn't suit up again next week, and they just hold him out until week 1 is what I'm hoping for. But no cause for alarm. Just pay attention a little bit.
Gotcha. Sounds like the Broncos have a good problem. They have a quarterback beating out another quarterback, and rightfully so. But it looks like Paxton Lynch has got to be. You got to press pause on him.
He looked sad. Again, this is coming from a 49ers fan. He couldn't do anything. Missed so many wide open receivers, and you could see Demaryius Thomas just getting pissed. Demaryius Thomas burned the cornerback for the Niners wide open for a touchdown, and the ball wasn't even close. It was out of bounds by about 5 yards. Once they put Simeon in, they were just driving. So I really do believe that quarterback, that's over. I mean, it's done. Paxton Lynch, I think it's done. He's done in Denver.
And let me remind my Cowboy foes about their trust in Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones had to be talked off a ledge to not trade the house to move up for Paxton Lynch and burned a few bridges, I think.
And also try to get Johnny Manziel instead of the best offensive guard in the entire NFL in Zach Martin. So,
right.
Man, whatever you're going to do, just basically, hey, Jerry Jones, what do you want to do with this pick? And then do the opposite. And you will have a successful franchise.
He says, you know what I want to do? I just want to give it away for free and then bring back Terrell Owens and Roy Williams. Okay. Oh. So, speaking of, like, just awful things and, like, worst-case scenarios.
I like that you relate Jerry Jones with awful things. That's so great.
Oh, he is awful. Blake Bortles, my God.
It's fun to watch, but hard to watch at the same time. Did you see somebody put up a Twitter poll and said who would be the better Jacksonville Jaguar quarterback? And it was like Colin Kaepernick, Chad Henne, Jay Cutler, Tony Romo, and Jalen Ramsey liked it.
No way.
Yeah, which is so great. And then you've got the video where Allen Robinson at practice is running like a flag route or a corner route, and Bortles throws the ball like 10 yards out of bounds, and somebody's cell phone picked up Allen Robinson saying, "Damn, bro, keep it in bounds." Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just played so bad this week. And so the coach came out and said it's an open competition. And what makes it even worse than that, man, the head coach and the coaching staff, they doubled down on Bortles this offseason. They signed him to his fifth-year option, and then they didn't bring any competition in. Just Chad Henne, who has not played one snap in 2 years. And Chad Henne's going to win this competition. I guarantee it. Now, I've seen lots of things on Twitter talking about Colin Kaepernick. That is not happening in Jacksonville. Khan, the owner of Jacksonville, donated over $1 million to Trump. There's no Colin Kaepernick happening in Jacksonville. I'm telling you that right now.
And for those of you who are not globally or nationally aware, Florida, especially that part of Florida, got some family from that area. No, they're not going. That's going to be a bad spot for him, and it's ugly. It's unfortunate, man. It's wrong. Yeah. Speaking of things that are wrong, LeGarrette Blount didn't look too fast. Okay, but here's a deal. You look on later on the film, he kind of made up for some plays, but I'm with you. There's no way you should run a stretch with LeGarrette Blount.
So I'll say this. Like, you have to know what you have. And they're running the exact same play with Darren Sproles and LeGarrette Blount. Now, I am not a smart man. But if you put those two people next to each other, you realize they have some differences in appearance and skill set.
Yeah.
And so you need to use that skill set. They're running slow developing outside stretch plays with a huge mammoth of a man. And that's just, you got to get them running north and south, not to the side. If they don't change that, I'm telling you right now, he might not be on the roster. He's averaging less than 2 yards per carry right now through the preseason.
Yeah. You know, another person, though, that is off the radar that Deuce Staley has been really high on and had injury issues is Wendell Smallwood, who is supposed to be getting first-team reps against the Dolphins this week. So if he shows out this week, I think that he could be a way bigger factor than what people know, because the problem is with Sproles and with Blount is that it's pretty predictable what they're going to do when they're in the packages that they're in.
I was pretty surprised when they put Blount in there and set him to the outside. I started laughing because it looked like the play was in slow motion. He got tackled for like a 2-yard loss, but
yeah, it was just like a Forrest Gump. You're running the wrong way. It was not good.
It was not good.
So Jared Goff, Cooper Kupp. That's a hard name to go with.
Cooper Kupp. Oh, yeah.
They're
Eastern
balling.
Washington, man.
Yeah.
They are looking really, really good, to be honest with you. And so the first week, you could see that Goff targeted Kupp a lot right off the bat. And then the second week, he just goes nuts. And so 70 yards and a touchdown, like 6 catches. And I think he's only missed 1 target. I think he's got like 13 targets and 12 catches so far through 2 games. And it looks legit. Like, I mean, it looks good. He's a great route runner. He's not a fast guy, but he's a predictable guy. And so I'm excited to see this. I'm telling you right now, the Rams' offense is going to be different. I'm not saying they're going to be great. They were the worst offense in the entire NFL last year. They were 32nd.
Wow.
That's going to change just because of the system that's in place.
It's crazy, man. I know we didn't get a chance to talk about this before, but that running back, the rookie running back out of Tennessee that's with the Saints.
Oh, man, Alvin Kamara.
Whoa.
First touch. Takes it to the house, like 41 yards. It might have been more. And he looked quick. He is an uphill runner from Tennessee, and, I mean, the dude can play. And I love him. I hate the situation he's in with both Mark Ingram and Adrian Peterson there. He's automatically going to step into that third down role that Travaris Cadet was in last year. But, again, you are just talking late pick. Super late pick.
It's unfortunate. I mean, the problem is you'd like to see the Saints actually do something with the player capital and translate that to either draft capital or to turn a weakness into a strength. I mean, Mark Ingram would be very welcomed in a place called Green Bay or Philly or a few of these other places or the Giants. Oh, my God. To the Giants, he puts them in Super Bowl contention. That sounds crazy, but it's just true.
I think you're right, man. But I don't. Yeah. I do know that the Saints do not like Mark Ingram and that he will be gone soon. But I think this will be his last year. So I think they're going to run with all three. And then next year, I'm telling you, if you're in dynasty leagues, Kamara is a huge get. Huge get.
Rex Burkhead looks like the man. Why isn't he being drafted that way?
Man, I don't understand. I just don't understand what happened here. Everybody thought that the guy was going to be who? Everybody thought it was going to be the guy that came over from Gillislee from Buffalo. And he has not practiced. He has missed 2 weeks straight of practice. But the ADP, the average draft position, is not saying that. He is still going super, super high. So just as of, let me see here. Let me pull up this link here because I don't want to do anything wrong. He's going as the 22nd running back. Gillislee is going in the 5th round. But he hasn't even practiced. Now, if we look at Rex Burkhead, the 13th round. He's the 58th running back. Now, I'm not saying...
He's not even being drafted, basically, right?
Basically. So he's going towards the very, very end of drafts. And now it's bumped up a lot in the past week, so it's starting to change. But having said that, I don't want any New England running back if I have a choice. Because Bill Belichick, and I think we've said this before, he schemes to what's best for his team. And so there will be weeks where he will only use Dion Lewis. And there will be weeks that he only uses Rex Burkhead. So they're not consistent. I want consistency. But if Rex Burkhead's available in the 13th, 14th, 15th round, get that guy. Get him.
Right. So sounds like you've got to eat a little bit of crow because last episode you said Mike Williams is done. I put my life on it.
I don't think I said that.
No, you didn't. No.
But I do like the extra emphasis. And you know what? Let's double down. I still believe Mike Williams will not play this year. And they are saying that he has an October return. Are you freaking kidding me? October? Like, they said that he's already running full speed on a treadmill. Well, so am I. Am I ready for the NFL? No, I'm not. There's such a big difference between a treadmill and cuts and jumping and all that. He's got a back injury.
And you and Mike Williams, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, we're about the same athletic ability. I'm sadness. But here's the deal. I really don't think there is any way that guy's good. Let's say he comes back in October. There's no way he's finishing the season. There's no way this guy plays 6 games. 0. There's no way.
I don't know. I actually think he'll play 6 games. Let's see, because October, if they bring him back early October, I think that there's no way that he doesn't not play 6 games.
So, do you think he'll play 6 games? You're like you said. I put my life on it. Do you think he will play 6 or more games this year?
Well, did you say you're going to put your life on it? I don't know. Anyways.
Is he going to play 6 or more games? I'm asking you. I'm trying to set up a bet here.
No, he will. He will. They
All
would
right.
have not gone through all of these issues and to tell the fans he's going to be back for no reason. They would have just shut him down.
Okay, so here's what I want to say. 6 or more games. If he plays in 6 games or more, actually takes a snap in 6 or more games, you win the bet.
Okay.
If it's 5 or less, or sorry, if he
Yeah.
plays in, there we go. Then I win. And how about I want supremacy here? Probably should have used that word this week.
Yeah, it's the wrong few months for that, man.
We'll just keep that in there. Sorry about that. Man, this sounds even worse as I keep going. How about, gosh, I was thinking some way that we could address each other to the winner on a full episode. So instead of calling me John or me calling you Charles, you are going to call me the fantasy legend. So
Okay.
So
and if I win, you've got to call me King of the North.
King of the North. All right, I like it. So there's the bet. Mike Williams will not play 6 or more games. There is no way.
So sad for you.
Yeah.
Just so you know, your mic's kind of going up and down. I don't know if you want to change that.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right, we're good.
Okay. All right, last but not least, our favorite part of the day and part of the podcast where we talk about a division. And we'll start near me, the NFC North, where I've got the Chicago Bears, and they're not going to be first place.
Man.
So, John, who do you got in dead last in that division?
Oh, it's not even close. It's Chicago. And here's how bad it is. This is what I would say. If I was to determine the draft order for next year, first pick is going to be between the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. Those two rosters are just devoid of talent. And I really think that the Bears, they're going to be, I think they're going to be fighting for first place, which is awesome because the Niners have their third pick. So I will be rooting for that the whole time.
Wow. Well, I got to go with you. I got to go, unfortunately, and put
You
my
live
Bears.
there, man, and your in-laws are going to be upset.
I'm scared.
All
I'll just
7
say it.
of your Twitter followers are going to be angry.
Yeah, they will be. And I'll tell you something right now. I'm not going to be a popular guy at family functions, but here's the deal. The Chicago Bears are bad right now. Sorry, folks. Trubisky, he looks like the future. That's great. That's good.
He's played well.
Howard looks like the future. Meredith has been a surprise. Great interior offensive line.
Yeah, best in the NFL, probably.
Hey,
Cowboys.
Exactly. But outside of that, and maybe a quarter that might step up this year, and maybe some rookies this year and from last might step up. You might be not halfway terrible, but this is the NFL.
It's a bad division. I'm telling you, that defense it needs some work.
Oh, yeah. Dalvin Cook's going to have a field day over there. Ty Montgomery might look like a good running back against them. That's what's going to happen. And then you've got the Vikings.
Oh, so you got the Vikings finish at third?
No, I don't. I was just going to say that their defense is going to just give the Bears fits, as I think a lot of other defenses will.
So let's jump around a little bit here.
Okay.
I have Minnesota finishing second and Detroit third. Now, the reason why I have Minnesota second, their offense is just garbage. But they had the number 3 defense last year, and I think they're going to actually get better this year. So they are one of the teams in contention for the best defense. I think them and the Giants, those are the two kind of main teams that stand out to me. And Dalvin Cook's look great, and that offensive line is terrible. But if Dalvin Cook could manage just to get some space in that offense, I think they're going to be great. They were the 32nd ranked rushing offense last year. And
crazy.
If they can just get something out of that guy, I really think their defense is going to keep them in every game. And they'll be competitive. Obviously, they're not going far even if they do make it to the playoffs because of Sam Bradford. But that is a strong defense. What do you think about Minnesota?
So I'm going to play not devil's advocate. It's just I'm going to predict a dark horse here.
Uh-oh.
I've kind of felt this way about the Lions this year.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to go on a bit of a whim here because I just got a feeling. I'm going to put Minnesota third. And here's why I'm going to put them third. It's going to be quarterback play that's going to hurt that team and put them in bad situations and put them at a record that really the whole team doesn't deserve, because they are pretty solid all the way around.
Right.
But Bradford, he hates it when people blow air at him because he falls down. So he doesn't like that. And you know how I know he doesn't like that? Because he likes to wear the longest sleeves in the NFL because his elbows get cold, okay? And you're playing in Minnesota, buddy. Your elbows are going to get cold. That's how it happens.
They're in the dome now, so maybe no sleeves for him.
No, it doesn't matter. He's always just elbow. He went to school in Oklahoma.
I love Detroit,
yeah.
But
yeah.
I've been doing a little bit of research. I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Stafford, who I think is amazing. I think he's a great quarterback, and he plays every game close. Out of 51 games against teams that had a 500 or better record, so teams with 8-8 and better, he's got 51 of these games. How many of those do you think he has won? Again, 51 games against 500 teams or better. How many games has he won?
I'm going to say under 10.
Under 10 is correct. He is 5-46 against winning football teams.
Wow.
That's nuts. Here's the thing with Matthew Stafford. He is very similar to Tony Romo in the fact that if he's on a terrible team, he's going to keep it close. If he's on the best team, he's going to keep it close. He's a gunslinger type of mentality, and only 3 games last year were decided by more than a touchdown. So, they are always close. 13 games of Detroit were within a touchdown or less. And so they're going to be close. I've got them right around 500 again, but I got them third, as I said earlier.
So, and again, this is more intuition. The Vikings make more sense at 2, but just something about Matthew Stafford having another major weapon added in Kenny Golladay. The development of
Kenny Golladay, who I like a lot.
Yes. The development of Eric Ebron. I like that running back situation. That defense is mysterious because sometimes it plays pretty dang good and other times it doesn't. I don't know. Something about the flip of the coin. I feel the Lions at 2.
I like it.
So, and then obviously we've got Green Bay at 1, but I'll go ahead and say, since Philly played them already, something that's interesting to me. First of all, fantastic secondary. Holy smokes. Really good.
And that was their weakness. Their cornerback position was their weakness last year. And I think it's on an upswing. I really do. Absolutely.
The only problem is, I know that they focus on the run stuff, which is great. Even with that defense just doesn't have the explosion that for the pass rush. So they may be a team who gives the quarterback all day. That's one of the things that look like to me, because even watching Clay Matthews, even when he got stiff-armed by Wentz, I watched him go against our offensive line, and he was getting stifled a bunch when he was coming in. So he may have taken a step back.
We'll see what happens there. But when you have Aaron Rodgers, everything's okay. Since he's taken over, the 8 years that he's been a starter full-time, they've got 8 years of winning seasons. He's just a winner. I truly believe he's the best quarterback in the NFL, and I don't think it's that close. And as long as they got that guy, they're going to be in contention. Hopefully they get to play the Cowboys again. Oh, wait, Cowboys won't make the playoffs this year. Never mind.
Well, hold on. Let me just, since we're there, let me just mention the Cowboys. Got to give them some props. They looked beast. Now, were they going against a Colts defense that didn't even have all their starters? Yes.
Colts defense is awful, and that's the remedy. If you're struggling offense, play against the Colts, and you're going to feel great. Having said that, Dak to Dez, I think is going to happen a lot this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say, man. I can't take it away from Dak, dude. He's looked fantastic.
He's 40.
I hate to say it. It just, it kills me. Now, what doesn't kill me, makes me feel good, is that run game is undecided for at least a few weeks. And that defense, sorry, folks, you won't be having Nate Irving. You won't. I was looking at him like, he's suspended. He's suspended.
Everybody.
You get a car.
You get a suspension. You get a suspension. We're America's team. You hit a woman. You did drugs. You did these. America's team. Okay.
And notice too, and I'm a believer in Jalen Smith, but notice how NFL Network and others described his outing, a spirited outing. Didn't do anything. He was just really excited, and he made a few plays. He looked good.
He looked okay. He did not look like the Jalen Smith that I broke down on film when his senior year or junior year at Notre Dame before he got hurt. Obviously, he's going to have a role to play. I'm not sure he will ever return to the player that he was. I'm hoping he does. Now, having said that, you're talking about somebody that's so elite. Let's just say he's playing at 85%. He is still going to be a player in the NFL, and I am rooting for this guy big time. Something just did not look right when he was out there, though. So I'm rooting for him.
I'm not, but kind of. I mean, him personally. But anyways, man, that wraps up episode 9. This is episode 9, right?
Yeah, 9.
Holy smokes, here we go. And, follow us on Twitter and stuff. I'm host Chuck B.
And stuff.
Yeah. That's like retweet us. That's what I meant to say.
That's awesome. I'm JL_Chapman. Thanks for listening for Fantasy Football. We are out.